You ever had one of those moments where an old karmic pattern has sort of resurfaced in your life, or you've begun to see a certain tendency in your life come up over and over and over again throughout your life? We can often in those points be a bit scared and think, what the hell is this doing here? I thought I dealt with that. And this is the topic of the day today in this video, so if you'd like to watch this, then by all means stick around. So I can't say that this is original content because I've taken the title from another spiritual YouTuber called Michelle Duque. You can find her, we've actually done a podcast on my channel, you can find her there, and I'll probably leave the link down below to her channel. She's put the title as, oh no, not this again, I can't believe this is happening again, or whatever the title is that I decide to create and post-edit. But we deal with karmic patterning, don't we, or certain tendencies, for those that don't like the spiritual lingo, certain tendencies, certain things that keep coming up again and again and again in our life. It's cyclical. Life itself is cyclical. And when we see these certain patternings coming up again and again and again, it can be frustrating, because, you know, there's people out here on YouTube saying there's an end to this, and of course there's never really an end, but think there is an end. You know, there is a death, a change process to the egoic structure and the tendencies, the patterning that's upholding that structure. So there is an end to these cycles, in a sense, but that can be very frustrating to hear when the cycle's coming up again in you, but just in maybe a slightly different way, a different form. Perhaps it's the same cycle, but a different person bringing this cycle up to you, in a sense. Thing is, these cycles are going to come again and again and again and again and again and again and again until we learn the deeper message. Now, let's just look at this really simply. Let's say I have a karmic pattern of control, which I used to have, and in some aspects still do when it comes to life in general, but even that is being seen as an illusion. But I'm not 1,000,000% there, I'm not perfect, don't put me on a pedestal at all, because I'm a right rascal at times. I still try and control my experience, but nonetheless, let's leave this aside for a moment. And let's have a look at the first time I became, well, it first starts, doesn't it, with us being totally unaware that we're trying to control people. That's why the Bible says, Jesus said in the Bible, forgive them for they know not what they do. Because we're so unaware of the pain that we're causing to ourselves and to other people with these actions. It's totally unconscious. It's the patterning that we've picked up from our parents, perhaps, or from friends, or from partners, for example. Totally unconscious. This is kind of the first stage of these karmic patternings and in the way that they come up in our life. We're unaware of this pattern. Then we get a little tip off from the outside usually, because somebody's angry with us, or people keep getting angry at us with this certain thing, and we begin to see, oh right, the problem isn't them. Why is everyone so angry at me? The problem isn't there. People are so nasty, people are so mean. The problem isn't them, it's actually something I'm doing. And let's say it's control. So now we have, the second stage of it, I suppose, is we have this awareness, don't we now? Oh right, there's something inside of me that I'm doing that pushes people away, that people don't particularly like about me, or the personal version of me that they see. So when we become aware, the time is ticking on it, isn't it? But I've said this in a previous video, in the Dark Night of the Soul video, and I think this is where people get peed off and annoyed, because there's people like me saying, yeah, there's an ending to this, and people see this karmic patterning once, oh, I'm controlling, or I can be controlling at times. Sorry, the first one was a judgment, ignore that. I can be controlling at times, and we see that inside of ourselves, and we think that that's the end of it, but it isn't. Seeing it and being aware of it, yes, then, is the end of it in the future. But the reason it keeps coming back is to increase that awareness around that subject at first. So let's look at control. Why might a certain circumstance come up to me to present to me that I can be controlling at times so that I'm aware? So then why might it, once that's dropped away and I feel, that's dropped away from me, I don't do that anymore, and then it comes back in a different aspect, a different scenario. Why is that coming back? Okay, so it's that I get more awareness around this focal point being control. More awareness, right, the control extends like a spider web into every aspect of my life. Now this is that increase of awareness, isn't it? Our awareness is increasing and we see, something in me wants to control absolutely everything in my life. But then the job's still not done, because it will come back again in all of these aspects, not so that we have to control and squish these things down and gut them out of us, because again, then we see the awareness behind that. Right, not only am I trying to control all of my outer experiences, I'm now trying to control the spiritual awakening inside of me. I'm now trying to control the controlling one. Namaste, love and light, good luck to you, because it doesn't work. This is why we must do sadhana. Sadhana just means the spiritual practice, because the sadhana will do that which we can't do. I just sound confusing, don't I? But hopefully you get the gist of what I mean. We must do sadhana, and we must have a consistent practice of sadhana, because sadhana is the spiritual practice that brings about the highest aliveness and the highest amount of awareness and intensity of energy inside of us. And awareness is the thing that heals all. We must become aware of all of these things that the ego wants to do inside of us, so that these karmic tendencies end. But we're still not at the final point, because the karmic tendencies don't end with us seeing, even the karmic tendencies are coming out in a spiritual format. I'm trying to control the spiritual awakening through my lens of tendencies, meaning control, for me, for example, and will likely be that for most of humanity, Because we see, there's a deeper message that all of this is happening on the screen of consciousness, which I've never been a part of. Now, if that sounds confusing, that's fine, that's understandable. I have some videos going into a little bit more about what I'm talking about, but if you're with me, then stay with me. Because we see that all of these tendencies that are coming up, these karmic patterns that keep coming up, are just, I suppose in a sense, though they can be ironed out in a way through consistent practice and consistent sadhana, can be for sure ironed out and got rid of. Not that there's anyone getting rid of it. Anyway, we see that these are just smudges on the screen of consciousness. Am I the screen? Am I the actor on the screen? Because there's a deeper message, isn't there, that these karmic tendencies, though annoying as they come back up, it's love. It's love that they're coming back up for you, so you realise, you take a step back and see, I've never been these tendencies. I've been the one watching these tendencies play out. I'm that one watching these smudges. It's like Matt Kahn, a great spiritual teacher, said this beautiful thing on Instagram the other day, and he said, the spiritual awakening journey is much like cleaning a grubby mirror. You get the Febreze, you try and clean the mirror, but every time you try and clean the smudge on the mirror, the smudge doesn't go, it stays. And it's only through this spiritual awakening that we begin to realise that this smudge is like a reflection. The only reason this smudge on the mirror can be there is because it's reflecting back to ourselves, our true nature, which is eternal. How could these phenomenal things be in front of us if they weren't reflecting back to us our true nature that is eternal? I'm eternal, therefore the smudges can be. So these karmic tendencies are going to keep coming up, keep building the pressure, keep smudging the mirror, so that when we think we've got it done, we look deeper into the mirror and see the reflection of our true self. Smudges and all. I am perfectly flawed in my human aspect. I'm perfectly divine in my essence. If you'd like some of the sadhana to help you gain some awareness, to bring some clarity in a moment where we don't feel so clear, then down below you're more than welcome to sign up for the free breathing practice. It won't take you all the way, but it will certainly do a hell of a lot if you've got no money, for example. If you'd like as well, I've been beginning to do some affordable group calls. They're much more affordable than the one-to-one coaching, which you can also apply for down below, because you're paying for my time as a group. And we can still do the same curriculum that I do with my one-to-one clients in the group calls, and that's what I'm trying to offer. It's a little bit less personal, but you still get the benefit of the teachings, and you get the sadhana on the back end. You can apply down below. I think you have maybe 3 days maximum left to register, and then that's that. You'll have to wait until next time, and I don't know when that will be. Of course, as well, down below, if you would like a community of people that are also beginning to wake up to the truth, to the reality of the nature of this universe and the nature of ourselves, then you're more than welcome to sign up for the free Awakening community down below. It's on Facebook. Sorry, I do have a few people messaging me saying, is there any way I can access this if I don't have social media? Unfortunately, there's not. I haven't worked out a way as to how to do that. If anyone knows of a way that isn't too taxing, then let me know, because I'd be more than happy to have a look at that. So these karmic tendencies are going to come up, and we're going to see them and be like, oh no, not again. But hopefully in time we begin to realise that they're coming back up just as a reflection of that which I am, which is eternal. Same as you. I have to be careful with my words, because I don't want it to seem like I am the eternal one, I'm the big I am, because that is just not true at all. God is, and we're reflections of him. Or her. No need to be sexist, Jamie. Okay, and that God essence, that divine essence, that pure positive energy is inside all of us. And these karmic tendencies, these smudges on the mirror of our consciousness, of the screen of consciousness, are here just to reflect back to you the divinity that's inside all of us. I hope this video helps, and have a lovely day.